Alan Steinfeld, host of New Realities TV and the author of his brand new book, Making Contact, Preparing for the New Realities of Extraterrestrial Existence. Welcome to part 2 of Making Contact. At the end of part 1, Alan was explaining the abstract symbolism of the asterisks that he has placed on the cover of his book.
That asterisk, not to go too long about that one little thing, but that is the whole book in a sense. That asterisk is the point of contact. It's the point and the point of contact. You know?
Beautifully expressed.
It's the message
yes.
of contact, and it is the actual actualization. If we can apprehend its intent, we are making contact.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
I'm glad you get that, because I can't really talk to a lot of people about that, because they say, what are you talking about? But you get it because you're an artist and you're thinking abstract. Artists think abstractly. They think because in those realms where they kind of float through the concretized realities and create something that holds manifold aspects of meaning. Mm-hmm. So since you're an artist and a creator, you understand that, but a lot of people actually don't, which is okay. They've just been so programmed into left brain thinking, like, come on, tell me what you mean. What are you talking about? And I'm saying, I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about everything.
There you go. Well, I'm also really into quantum physics and how they describe the universe, the reality being made of information. And what is information? Symbols that have meaning. And this entire reality being a representation of a geometric language. A reflection, now they're talking about an E8 crystal or E8 lattice, this spherical geometric mandala made of different combinations of tetrahedrons that is being projected from the 8th dimension into the 4th dimension to derive 3D. And the math is in the mandala, which I like, because if you think of the matrix, you just think of binary code running, and that's not very sexy, right? But when you think that it's truly symbols, these geometric patterns that are defining our reality, of course, it makes us think of the Platonic solids and the tetrahedron being the most fundamental form, but it's a geometric language of symbolism that gives our universe meaning.
Right. It gives it meaning in an abstract way, these symbols, the geometries, and there is concretized applications of geometry, which is, I think, how these UFO craft work, through actualizing a potentiality of the abstract movement and saying, okay, we're going to collapse the wave function in this way at this moment, and then you move from place to place. But living in that wave function, you can get anywhere at any time with anyone you want, sort of, because so this is why they're also not showing up, because they want us, not that I have it figured out, but they want us to figure this out so we can meet them on an even playing field. It's like, I equate it to like talking to your dog. If you're trying to communicate with them, you're not going to bark at them because
well, sometimes I do.
Sometimes you do, and they
really
might get
my dog out.
But dogs, maybe, or a monkey or whatever, not to judge them, but the lower form of consciousness, and we're speaking a more evolved language, just like dolphins are speaking a more evolved language than us. You know, dolphins can make 4 sounds at once. We are stuck with the ba 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 at a time, one word, and they can make a sound through their blowhole, through their nostril, through their throat, through the back of their mouth at once. So they are living, and their brains, if you look at a dolphin brain, they're much more complex and sophisticated. They never sleep either. They sleep on one side of their brain at a time. And John Lilly discovered this when he would anesthetize a dolphin, think, oh, they're mammals, they sleep. And no, they drowned. When they were fully anesthetized, those dolphins did not come up for air and they drowned. So a dolphin sleeps on half their brain at once, their right side and their left, because they are conscious breathers. And of course, you know the power of breath, the power of rebirthing and breathing. So I'm saying the more sophisticated the intelligence, the more abstract their awareness. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
totally following that, and your descriptions have really been very well expressed. And so totally getting that theory, and I'm sure the viewers are as well. And so,
right, so my next book,
go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say my next book is going to be about art and UFOs. So yeah, okay. What were you going to say?
And so let's dive into the content of your book and start with your first essay, which is Nick Pope. He once was a UK Ministry of Defense, right?
Yes, and you know Nick, right?
I do know Nick. Yes, I've met him at Contact in the Desert events. Yes.
That's right. So did you get the way I structured the book? Did you understand the sequencing of what did you understand about that?
And so for me, it felt like you were starting with the nuts and bolts with Nick Pope, right?
Yes.
And then you were building on that into then consciousness and how it affects the consciousness. And you know, what was really struck me about the book, and something that I've said for years, is like, okay, yes, they're there. There's a craft, here's a photo, you know, I get it. And then we've known this for decades. Who's on the craft? Where are they from? Why are they here? How has human evolution been affected by their intervention? Do we have starseed origins? Are they our ancestors? Like the deeper questions, and ultimately the question not many people explore that you do in great detail, Alan, and bless you for this, is how it shifts someone's consciousness at a cognitive level in a profound way.
Yes, you're absolutely right. At a cognitive level is the shift we need to make. This is what distinguishes an evolving civilization, is if we can make a cognitive adjustment about our view of reality. So, you know, people living in caves had a very particular view. They may have been more conscious of the abstract and the awareness, but you know, I think evolution of culture is the expansion of cognitive awareness. That's why I call my program New Realities, because it's a new reality. So that's the sequential development in the book. Nick Pope, he's a great guy, very smart, but he is just looking at the situation from the disclosure angle, the government cover up, the hardware, the nuts and bolts. That's in a way all he's concerned with. And if other things exist out there, and abductions or starseeds, in a way that's not his concern. I mean, it's not his lens of focus. So I thought that's where we're all starting from, in a way. That's where, you know, what's the government knowing? Why aren't they telling us this? What's really going on? I needed that insider's point of view as kind of start us all off on an even playing field, because that's something everyone relates to before we get into the really deeper ET presence and abductions and all that. So if we could start out together, right? And you know, this didn't even come to me, the sequence, until I actually asked Nick to contribute. I was thinking I was going to make this kind of all spiritual and new age, but you know, it just kept coming back to me. I know Nick, I could reach out, I could ask him. And when he said, yeah, he'd love to contribute, it's like, oh, I can arrange this in a vertical access, you know, where we go from the exterior,
Right. Yeah.
to the interior, to the deep interior. So yeah, Nick says, well, this is why government doesn't want to reveal their secrets. They don't want to share technology. They don't want to freak out people. They know all the things we know, but some really hardcore evidence of the things that they're doing to stop disclosure, you know? He calls himself, actually, is a great opening line. Remember, what can you read the opening line to Nick's? I mean, because I love when you read, because you have such a good voice too for reading that. And
Thank you.
just
Okay, let me just go to Nick Pope's section here.
Oh, right.
Table of contents.
Oh, if you had the book, I'll get you the book next time I see you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm on the chapter Government Mindset and Our Future Among the Stars.
Yes. What does he say? What's the first sentence he says there?
Every story needs a villain. When it comes to the story of UFOs, the role of that villain is usually taken by the government. In this story, the government is sometimes seen as a single monolithic entity, while other times there's a suggestion that some sort of cabal exists within the government managing UFO secrets.
Right. So, you know, there's two sides to this UFO story. There's the Defense Department, those covering up, and there's the offensive side. These beings are showing these ships. So it's like, and the people in the UFO business or world are always dealing with these two, was dealing with the government. What do they know? And what do the ETs want to show us? And then, you know, there's, like I say in this book, in the next chapter with Grant Cameron, there's no innocent bystanders. You know, if you've seen a UFO, according to Grant, you were meant to see it. You are part, I don't say of the problem, you are part of the situation. You are part of the phenomena. You're one of us. And he, according to him anyway, there are no chance sightings because they're aware of this. And it goes back to quantum physics again. You know, consciousness has energy. If you're looking at a craft, that craft is looking at you. Somehow it's aware.
Quantum entanglement, right? Especially
exactly.
If they're our ancestors.
Exactly. And that entanglement, once you've seen a craft, that's with you. You're entangled, and that entanglement doesn't go away.
Right.
So, and that actually sightings are also increasing around the world. So entanglement is getting more entangled, you know?
Yes.
I just talked to a UFO researcher in China where it's not safe to be a UFO researcher, but she said to me, Xiao Ma, she said more and more people are reporting to her about this phenomena, about having dreams, about seeing things. So people here in this country think it's just about the US. No, this is a worldwide phenomenon. This is for everyone. This is a changing of the guard, of the God, of the change in time, of space. This is a shift in the modality of thought. It is a threshold into a new world. It really is an aspect of something more that's been latent within our cognitive structures, has to come online and be accessed. It's like what Joe Dispenza says. You know Joe's work?
Yes,
Joe Dispenza?
sure.
He says, we need new neural nets of creation if we're going to have a new life. We need to put together the vast capabilities of the unknown and think in different ways if we're going to access the divine God part of us, because we're not accessing it in the old mind. So the new neural nets of actuality exist in new thoughts that don't make sense to the old way of being. But as we push into the unknown, it's the story of the caterpillar. He never expects to be the butterfly. The caterpillar is just eating green leaves, and would not even recognize the butterfly as itself if it was to see it. I'm just projecting my thing onto the caterpillar, but this is what we're becoming. We are, destroying our environment, eating all the green leaves, and we go into these cocoons. We've just been in a cocoon for like the last 2 years. And that's been part of our change, because we are becoming a new species. We're becoming a new humanity.
Stay tuned for part 3 of Making Contact, right here on Contactee, featured on the Angels, Aliens, and Masters channel of SciSpy.tv.